Welcome back to Right Builds. Today we're going to get right into this. This is the cowling pieces that we took off last week off the 240. So here we're going to just go ahead and start cleaning them. Got a water hose and a nozzle. So let's just get some of this dirt off before we start the refinishing process and get these things looking nice and new. So we can see right here they are already starting to look a lot better, even just with a little bit of cleaning done. So I did use some simple green. It's pretty good degreaser, and a wire brush that I just picked up at O'Reilly's. It was a few bucks. Got myself a little sanding block here just to kind of really get into some of those spots and rub off some of that dirt and grime. Got myself a flathead screwdriver so that I can kind of really pick out some of the rocks and stuff that were stuck inside the grill sections of the cowling. Using a razor blade here so that I can take off that old, what would you say, foam material that kind of makes a seal between the chassis and that cowling piece. Now here I grabbed some 100 grit sandpaper. Got some of the extra bits off of it, make it nice and extra smooth. Coming up, you're gonna see a mistake. Nope. Don't do that. Here I'm going to use a 120 grit sandpaper to get this paint off this wiper on. Now I'm trying to position them here so I can get a paint on them. So I decided to flip them on their back, paint that. Using a semi-gloss enamel paint. Now I paint the top. So here's the cowling that's painted with this semi-gloss enamel paint, and here's the mistake. I did not take my time to properly prime, prep, do all the sanding, filling, and the color I did not like. I thought the semi-gloss was going to be more flat, but it definitely came out a lot more shiny. Can't see that really here, but in person it did not look how I wanted it to come out. Here's a close-up, kind of give you an idea of how shiny it looks. The dust on it, that's just there because it sat for a minute, but it definitely looks very cheap. This is what you call a rush job. The paint didn't go on that bad, it went on pretty smooth, but this is definitely not the OEM look that I was going for. So lesson learned, do it right, take your time. And don't use semi-gloss paint if you want to do cowlings. Definitely doesn't look as good as you think it will look. So next thing, I went ahead and sanded off the old paint. And here you can see I applied some body filler that I bought from O'Reilly's to fill in that gouge that was in one of the cowlings and any other little nicks and scratches that are deep, to get these parts nice and even. Here I primed this one. I had already got this one ready to go. There's a little divot right there I filled. This is what it looked like after I did the sanding on the parts that I had added the filler to. It actually came out really good, so I was really happy with the outcome. And then here, I'm going ahead and adding a Sandable primer. That's very important, you get Sandable primer. Here's that piece now. The primer's dry. You can see it had good coverage. You want to do about 2 to 3 coats. That way when you do sand, you don't get down to the plastic and you still have some room to work with. The filler got covered nicely. Any of the little dents and dings, especially the gouge, came out really good, so you could barely even tell that it was there. Now here, this is me just sanding it, so you want to go ahead and primarily go with a 220 grit sandpaper to a 400 sandpaper. Just get it nice and smooth before you apply the flat enamel paint to this, which is what I use, and it comes out a lot nicer, and you do the same thing to the other part. And here's the finished product. Looks very much OEM. This one right here, it looks like it has a little bit of streaks in it from all of the work that I had to do to it, because I had to remove the old paint and it was pretty bad. But overall, I'm pretty happy with it.
And here's those windshield wipers. You can see that there's a few nicks and scratches in here. This is the matte black paint that we put on these as well. Bad idea to put these in the trunk of your car with other things because they can get banged up, so we'll have to hit these again with the paint. But those came out pretty good as well, so I'm pretty happy with it. And lastly, this piece is proving hard to remove this material, so this is going to require some heat and razor blades to get removed, and we'll continue to work on this, and I'll show you guys the finished product in the next video. And on that note, that's going to end today's video of Right Built. I firstly would like to say thank you to those who did subscribe and like and comment, because those are 3 things that all YouTubers need. So please continue to do that, and I'll see you guys in next week's video. Right Built out.